Vote now in the prediction poll, live chat. And here's a turn 1 ponder for Standstill on the draw. What's the name of the Standstill player? We're just going to leave it off the stream. Believe it or not, some people are embarrassed to have their name attached to 90s MTG. And, yeah. It's just the way it is, really. The player on the right told me my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel are, and these are their words, not mine, embarrassing. It's really hurtful stuff. 1 minute left for predictions, everybody.
Brainstorm?
Do you have delirium? Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody. They didn't really say my channel's embarrassing. Sorry. Player on the right is good people. They just don't want their name on the stream, which is totally fine with me. Exactly. Some people just for professional reasons or whatever the reason. I ask people, and some people say I'd rather not put my name on it, and that's fine. It's all good. Wow. Almost 100% favor for Is It Delver, says Twitch chat. Myth realized the turn 2 play for Standstill.
That was a nutty opener.
Force pitch or ponder?
Force of Will on days to protect Myth Realized. So Myth Realized will resolve, and we're passing the turn here. I think if I'm Standstill and I have Myth Realized in my deck, and it's worth protecting enough that I'm going to fire off Force of Wills to protect it, I would just wait to play around days. I don't see any reason to slam it on turn 2. If you're Standstill, you're trying to play the long game, chat. Is a Delver for Kaplan. One of the guys in my player group in 2009 won a GP and was booking his flight to Pro Tour San Juan. He didn't tell his roommate or any of his college friends because he was embarrassed of the game. Some folks are like that. I'm hoping any stigma or whatever that makes people uncomfortable to talk about their relationship with games like Magic is fading. You know, we have, and I'm not even trying to be funny here, but like Post Malone coming out and saying they play Magic, Cassius Marsh, and all these, you know, these people that people admire and look up to saying, I play Magic. It's all good for the game, and I hope people just feel comfortable being themselves, really. Yeah. By the way, can we have like a legacy event in San Juan? I'd love to head out there for that. We should just have more Magic events in San Juan, everybody. Has anybody here been to San Juan? I mean, I'm looking for excuses to go there, to be honest. Roland says Hunter Pence wears a black lotus around his neck at press conferences, makes me love baseball even more. Yeah, Hunter Pence, another great example.
Pass to you.
Keith Master Flex says people need to get comfortable with sharing their invisible traits. It is the only way for us to grow as inclusive people. Well said, Keith Master Flex. I really, if I can retweet that, I would. Okay, so Myth Realized with 1 counter on it. For anybody that's not familiar, it's a white enchantment for 1 white mana. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it gets a Myth counter or something. 1 white mana ability becomes a creature with power toughness equal to the number of Myth counters. And then white and 2 put a Myth counter on it. So it's kind of a neat way to get around Standstill. It's actually a lore counter. Okay, it's a lore counter.
Play the strands. It's an instant and sorcery.
Sorry if I'm not up on life totals here. I'm trying to get it corrected.
Nurture.
Yep. Creature. Yeah.
Bud says, what's your or your LGS stance on proxies? I don't use them, but I went to a Legacy tournament in Milwaukee recently that allowed 4 proxies per deck. Sorry if this has been answered or too spicy of a topic. I'm regularly asked about proxies, if I personally have a stance on proxies. I can't really say I do, to be honest. The policy at my LGS is no proxies. These are, what do you even call it now? Just like sanctioned events. These are like official events, so there are no proxies.
Ponder, trigger, vapor
Yes.
on top. Ponder.
Trigger.
And I'm pretty regularly, for some reason, maybe I'm really bad at being clear on this, but for some reason people think I am anti-proxies. I'm not anti-proxies. Do whatever makes you happy. And if you're a local game store, do whatever works for your business. It all works for me fine. If you can run 60 proxy events and keep your lights on and your business running well at your game store, do it. I mean, why would you not do it?
That's the whole game.
It just becomes a. It doesn't have
It doesn't
flying
fly,
or
yeah.
evasion.
Fiscal Cliff says, I wish proxies were allowed more often. That barrier to entry for competitive Legacy is tough. I agree. And without going through the whole conversation all over again where we talk about the reserve list, and everybody can go watch my old videos and my old live streams where we talk about this topic over and over and over. And in our Discord, we discuss it pretty regularly, I would say. I mean, probably more than most people. But at this point, people probably bring up the reserve list in the Discord and like they see me comment on it and they're like rolling their eyes because I've said the same thing so many times. But Legacy deck prices are outrageous, and I don't really know how to fix that, to be honest.
-2 exile tapped creature again.
While keeping everybody happy.
She is at 1.
Iteration.
Sure.
Aquina says, I strongly support letting players use proxies in legacy tournaments, but only for reserve list cards. Important they have the same thickness and be indistinguishable. That's the kind of thing, though, that is just like, okay, I'm here to help. I want to figure out ways to make it work or whatever. Like, just that description, it's important they have the same thickness, and I don't know how we do that. I just don't know what we do. I think I'm going to change my whole stance on proxies. Just like, I have no idea. Someone else figure it out, please. Because I don't know. I have no idea what we should be doing. But again, I'm not against proxies. I'm not against proxies. I'm not offended by proxies, personally. And I guess I feel Goblin Lackey making a joke, not having opinions on things and underrated, but which is true. I guess I feel pressured sometimes to have an opinion, and I try to give my thoughts on it, and it just ends up with some people getting upset at me, some people confuse what I meant. I just rather I don't know, people. All you guys and girls figure it out, and whatever you do works for me. I'm pretty easygoing.
Okay.
Keith Master Flex says Legacy Pit is doing an interesting thing where they will loan out proxies for an event. Okay, so they're like providing the proxies, so the proxies will meet whatever standards that they want. That's kind of neat, actually. I like that idea. Like the way it looks in my head right now of like the proxies being without being counterfeits are recognizable cards. Like it clearly says Mox Diamond or whatever. And everybody can just quickly understand what's going on. That makes a lot of sense to me. All right, a Mystic Sanctuary coming down. We're seeing Swords to Plowshares getting put back on top. I'm just barely staying on top of life totals here. I hope it's not annoying anyone.
Timeless Dragon.
It's
a 5/5.
5/5.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then turn this into a creature. Pick this up. I'll put on +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains first strike. Just lower counters versus +1/+1 counters, even though it doesn't make a difference. And pass to you.
Okay, so now the Myth Realized has 3 lore counters and 1 +1/+1 counters, in case anybody missed what the Standstill player was saying there. Expressive Iteration. Hextrain says there's an LGS near me holding a 1K or something for Legacy unsanctioned, and they have a limited pool of proxies. Unsure how they are dividing them, though. Sounded interesting. I like the idea of the event hosts providing the proxies. That is, I don't think I've heard that idea before today, and that's a pretty nice idea. I'm sure people have done it in the past before. It never occurred to me that could be done. Lynx Games, thanks for the sub with Prime. Thank you. First sub for Lynx Games. Keith Master Flex says, I misspoke. It's the Buffalo Chicken Dip event. Okay, so it was not the Legacy Pit. Whoops. Hopefully nobody shows up to the Legacy Pit event after watching this and says, where's my proxies? It was the Buffalo Chicken Dip event, everybody. Hopefully the Legacy Pit doesn't get upset with me that I'm providing wrong information. All right. Bolt on Wandering Emperor. Attacking for 8 now. Standstill at 16.
Take the 8, not the 8.
Sure.
I'm going to use the floating mana and this white mana.
I know we exiled a bunch of stuff. Is that still a 4/4 or a 3/3?
Instant, sorcery, land, creature. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, still have Delirium. There's a 5/5 Timeless Dragon on the Standstill side. Here's Source of Plowshares on Murktide. It's getting Force Pitching Brazen Bower and a Delirium trigger, Surveil trigger.
Tap 2.
So the Source of Plowshares that was put back on top of the library by the Mystic Sanctuary has now been countered.
Just see how this.
Eternalizes not cast.
Want to go below 15?
Dave Kaplan, thank you for the donation. Thank you, thank you.
Tripping the Standstill.
Dave Kaplan, of course, on the left side of your screen playing,
It's like this ability.
and in the live chat or in
No,
the
only once. It would be way
in the live stream showing love. Thank you, Dave.
So it's just a 4/4 black zombie, no flying.
No, it is. It's a copy of the original, except it's a black zombie in addition to being a flying dragon.
Okay, players are discussing how Timeless Dragon works.
It's a 4/4.
Okay. And then when the token dies, it's just gone.
Because you exile this to create the token.
Dave Kaplan doesn't know how Eternalize works. Come on, Dave. You never drafted Amonkhet Limited?
So this is on the stack still.
Come on, people.
Yep. Yeah.
All tag.
ERC trigger. Because this was only on the first spell.
You have to block.
Yeah, here.
And then you get to make another
It'd be
one.
pretty insane if it was
You get to
every
block again.
I think it's kind of
So this is in the yard for this. Now we're
Yes.
on.
Yes.
COE says, as a modern living end stand, I like to bring the Amonkhet Limited experience to my constructed decks whenever I can. Yeah, all those cyclers from Amonkhet made it into modern, right? What's that demon? Archfiend of Ifnir? That's a really cool card, actually. Is that what it's called? And yes, I know some things about other formats, people. I know this blows people's minds sometimes.
Okay. Where's the select from Graveyard?
Irvin, wow, thanks for the follow. Welcome.
Creature and hit you with a 6/6.
I am going to cast the one
Pass to
and
you.
only catch up.
Kaplan says no blocks on the misrealized. Takes 6 down to... Oh, down to 9, I guess? Okay.
It's a.
Yep, I have to block the 8/8, so I take 3.
Okay. Yeah.
My turn?
It dies, right?
Oh, yes, yes. No, of course.
Okay, a Murktide post-combat. We're on standby now. Let's see if we remember the trigger on the old Murktide. Well, it's been pointed to. Everybody, I think we got it. Curator of Mysteries is such a cool card. That's the one where you could scry at the beginning of the game, right? I love that.
Bring this back.
Man, type, thank you.
Block 1, put him at 5. Got
Oh,
it.
and that's your
And
business.
if I try to attack and kill you in one turn, you got it.
All right, game 1 goes to Dave Kaplan. Well played. Players shuffling up here, resolving mulligans for game 2. And it looks like Standstill on the play drops a Flooded Strand. And there's the myth realized again. Going down to 19 off the fetch. Volcanic Island into Delver of Secrets. Delver of Secrets. Getting responded to here?
No, because you're going to daze it.
Unsure. Okay, maybe not. A-Rock says Dave is a solid player. I agree. Dave Kaplan, definitely one of the players to beat in the New York area. Turn 2 Flooded Strand for Standstill. Delver trigger reveals Ponder. So it flips. Attacking for 3. Down to 16. Brainstorm. Fetch in response to Brainstorm. Oh. Dovin's veto on Brainstorm. Damn. Whoa. All right, and followed up by a Ponder. Dovin's veto. Just get that Brainstorm the hell out of here. I didn't expect that. All right. Dave Kaplan still gets a cantrip in on this turn. Thinking about this Ponder. Ill Will says, what's your all-time fave Legacy deck and why is it Dead Guy Ale? I never even played Dead Guy Ale except in pre-modern. My favorite all-time deck, though, I mean, not thinking about any particular point in time, my favorite Legacy archetype is definitely blue-black X control. Discard spells and counter magic, and backed up by either red or green or both. Let's say Grixis or Esper or Sultai. That's where I like to live. And I don't do any of that Stoneforge Mystic crap. Okay? No Stoneblade for me. Okay? Just real control. Okay? Just don't want to be dealing with that Stoneforge crap. Personally. Bunch of Stoneblade players just unsubscribe. Here's Ponder. Maladin says, Chris, I just want to, quoting me, I just want to bolt, snap, bolt to win. Let me do it, please. Yeah, that's where I like to live. Keith Master Flux says, Maestro Mage over there. Yeah, I say Grixis on the stream because a lot of these people watching are just not, they're just not hip enough to know all the new terms. Maestros? What's Maestros? What's Cabaretti? They just don't know anything. Completely clueless. Like, if I put Prismari Delver on the stream, people are just going to not know what's going on. It's sad, really. A lot of Legacy players are just out of touch. The new Broker's Loam deck looks legit. I agree. Brokers. Oh, man.
It's like that's so. It's like there are people who play this when they get you instead of Wasteland. That's what they want from licenses.
All right, so we got 2 Myth Realize on the field now. One with 3 lore counters, one with 1 lore counter. Russian Pizza says, "Oh, hello, Mr. Twitter star." Oh man, I don't know, people. I may never tweet again. I think that's it. I'm done. Hanging up the jersey. Retired. One you know what post and it's all over. It's all over for you. What a train wreck. What's up, Lou and Hill? Yeah, what's up, Jason? All right, Richard and Pizza got the joke right away. Yeah, I mean, for anybody that's not familiar with what we're talking about, I had a tweet about tokens that was posted on Twitter, and it just reached way more people. Those of you that are regular viewers know that we joke about tokens regularly on the channel. It reached way more people than I ever could have imagined, this tweet. And the more people it reached, the more it was misconstrued and it was just a complete mess. It was a mess. Nobody understood what the hell was going on.
I still have the trigger.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess in some
That's
sense.
counter.
Like,
Spell pierces.
Yep, so this resolves, and then I guess you get this first.
It doesn't beat double.
Yeah, that was the thing. Joe Biden retweeted me, and then it just went all out of control.
It loses to
Yep.
And swords is good.
Yep. You could take game 3.
You have 1 card? 2 cards?
2 cards and no mana, and pass to you.
Lewinil making a great point. Magic Twitter exists purely to punish brands and stores. Yeah, the the bullying of companies has to stop. It has to stop.
I'll put a daze in the graveyard.
Okay.
So I have instant sorcery land
Yes.
3 times.
No. I hate you so much. Yep.
Standstill player says, "I hate you so much." Expressive iteration on the stack. Richard in Pizza says, "I bet it was the old school community who plotted this revenge, all 6 of them." Yeah, there's just a lot of people out to get me now. I think that's where we are, chat. They're all out to get me.
Yep, down to 6. Down to 3. Oh my god.
Down to 3. In bolt range now is the Standstill player, Dave Kaplan, up to 21. What?
Goes up to 4.
It's a clue.
Yep.
Into deep. So the Dragon's Rage Channeler is now a clue.
And hit you for 6.
I'm playing
Wow.
Yep.
no,
Sacks the clue, Dragon's Rage Channeler, or draw a card.
And when you slip out the back of Grand Order Arcanist, the next turn you can cast your expression iteration for 3. That's true. I didn't think about that.
it's so much fun.
Another expressive iteration. This one's getting force pitching Standstill. Wow. There must be another Standstill in hand, I'm guessing. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Force back up on the expressive iteration. Looking for that bolt, I guess. Puts a polluted delta, or steam vents rather, into exile. Never comes back. Cyril Timo, thanks for the follow. Welcome.
Eight, goes up to 6.
That's one of the things I like about.
Ponder resolving now for Standstill.
That requires. Because it doesn't seem to play anywhere else. I want to talk about powerful upgrades.
Oh.
I mean, now you've got what's
Keep it, draw, activate both.
Sure.
Oh my god.
People playing that?
Wow. Standstill gets there. The Myth realized we're able to swing in for the kill. I did not expect that. I thought Dave was going to win that game. Going to game 3, everybody. Thank you, Richard and Pizza, for sharing the card text in the Twitch chat. Delver of Secrets to start game 3 for Dave, and a Delver trigger reveal. No. Attacking for 1. Dragon's Rage Channeler pass, so 2 creatures to start. Here's a Brainstorm to start off turn 2 for Standstill. Whoa, I got the hiccups. Thraben, you did a Myth Realize Pox deck the other day. It was bad. It sounds bad, actually. That does not sound good at all. Actually, a cute bunny with a great question. What was for lunch today, Chris? So I shared my lunch in the Discord today. It was a mini sesame bagel with mahi mahi jalapeno salad, and it was delish. It was delish. Very good. With a nice tea. Dragon's Rage Channeler number 2. Here's a fetch for Kaplan and Chain Lightning you.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
2 Surveil triggers. What did everybody in Twitch chat have for lunch? Did anybody have anything interesting for lunch?
Is this on the list?
No, we just both have to
worked out.
I also have what is the name?
Delirium off of that, wow.
Hit Delirium there, so now it's a 3/3.
Do we need to complete the color?
Nice surveillance.
Let's complete
Okay.
the color circle.
Are you really at 12?
Because you chain lightning me.
3, 6, 7.
What would actually be
Okay,
pretty
yeah.
cool is if
Yeah.
you guys played 4 players with those decks.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
That would actually be pretty cool.
Even out?
Is that not
I don't know.
For me as a spec-
Pew Pew says bagel from New York City Bagel and Coffee House. That's where I got my bagel. Pew Pew, are you in the same town? A-Rock says al pastor and potato tacos. That sounds delish. I don't really do al pastor, but I know it tastes good.
So 8.
There's in too deep again.
Close strand.
Zero land equals
And you get a free ball.
You get one.
it's casual play.
Rolling with the bagel and lightning emotes. Pew Pew says I only play modern in a game story. Oh, nice. I got to make it out for modern. I've been slacking. I haven't been playing modern. Otreb, thanks for the follow.
Right, people were just like, no, that's this. Right.
Get a planes.
Well, that.
Can Standstill win this game? In Too Deep took out one DRC. Let's see if the other one can be dealt with. March of Otherworldly Light.
Yeah.
And I will pass to you, good sir.
Okay, so now a clue and no creatures for Kaplan. Expressive iteration. And it is getting forced pitching Spell Pierce. Interesting. Why not just use the Spell Pierce? Or was Standstill tapped out? I don't know. Brainstorm for Kaplan. Myth Realize now on the board for Standstill. Myth Realize was able to swing in for the win last round, last game. Okay, so they were tapped out. Thank you, chat. Yep, that's Myth Realized. We got some Myth Realized fans in the chat. I've played this card in Legacy before. Years ago, I played Standstill in Legacy, and I had Myth Realized in my deck, and it was a lot of fun. All right, Murktide coming down now, and we're trying to figure out what Kaplan's going to exile with Delve.
Secret scrolls.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Japanese version of it.
It's going to be a 7/7 Murktide. It looks like no longer having Delirium. Lots of laughing in the background. Don't really know how we feel about that. And a scoop. Dave Kaplan gets there. Dave Kaplan gets there. Nicely done. Good games. Oh, there's a picture of my bagel.